Welcome, everybody, to Dick, Storks, and Destinies. I'm Chapel, and I'm here with Crash, Ken, and the kid today, and we're continuing our October specials with the Missing 411 today.
Yay! The Missing 411. I have not much about it, but okay.
It's
Everybody-
about 411
It's all right.
people that are missing. Don't listen
I
to
highly
me.
doubt
I did not do my homework either, folks. But we're going to go for it.
Yeah, I gave homework to all these guys, and they didn't look at any of this stuff, so it's going to be mostly me today.
Look, I was busy, okay?
Yeah, with his left hand.
Right hand, thank you.
Okay.
See, I love the fact that he corrected me on that one.
That's why my right arm is jacked, son. Just,
That's not much to be proud about. By the way, we're the dicks and the dorks of destiny.
Yeah.
yeah.
It went from missing 411 to, man, my right arm's strong because I beat it.
He walked out like Quagmire in that one episode when he found out about the internet.
Oh, dear God. Okay, let's not get too far sidetracked in the start
right.
of the episode.
Chapel, Chapel, go ahead and tell us about this missing 411, and we'll add commentary to your knowledge.
All right, so the Missing 411 is a real life series of people who have gone missing, usually in national parks, sometimes in cities, but most of this takes place in national parks, in clusters of I believe 20 to 30 mile areas. These people go missing under mysterious circumstances. Things that are already ruled out whenever these cases are put into the Missing 411 are things like animal predation, possible serial killers, possible murders. There's usually a set of things that not all of these things happen for each case, but they all kind of happen for these cases. Like, dogs can't track scents. People will be found at a higher elevation than what they were. They will be farther away than they possibly could have reached in the amount of time that they have been missing.
Now, quick question.
Yes.
You said higher elevation than what they were. Look, my brain's not that smart. Are we talking like they were drugged, or that they were in an actual atmosphere that's higher than like being on ground level?
Like,
Well, at
they will
least your
go.
question was a little bit more intelligent than mine. Mine was going to go, are they found in fucking trees?
They'll be like close to a mountainous area, and instead of being, they'll go missing towards the bottom of the mountain, and they'll be found 3 to 4 quarters up the mountain.
Hill people. Hill people.
So they fell up the mountain.
Sure, buddy.
Hold on. I got something for you for that crash.
The
Another
soundboard still lives.
Yeah, the soundboard lives.
He hates it.
No, I don't. It's here for a reason.
I'm the one who
No.
hates it, but I don't know anything, so. Okay, anywho, continue. Sorry, Chapel.
No, that's all right. So, some of the things that happen is like, usually the people who go missing are, they're all ends of the spectrum. You can have like young children to the elderly. And those are usually the more interesting cases. Some people are found alive, but they have no recollection of what happened between them disappearing and them being found.
Mimics.
Sounds like some alien abduction, if you ask me.
Some people think that. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
There was a guy and this happened in the United Kingdom. There was a guy who went missing after leaving a bar on his way home. His home was like a quarter of a mile away from the bar, I'm pretty sure. He was found at a coal mine on top of a pile of coal with no coal dust on him, and his eyes wide open, dead, with no explanation as to how he died.
And he was raped.
What?
No, he wasn't. Why would you say that?
Hey, aliens do the probing, so you know.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
You know what? You know what? I feel like for once, kid's stupid comment actually could have been like legit. Like we don't know. You know, we just find
No.
a dude dead in a coal mine. You know,
He didn't like what he see, so he's like, I'm
Well,
done.
I mean, the guy was found. Oh, supposedly, we don't know for true fact if he was like a quarter a mile away from the bar. Found dead on a pile of coal
In a coal
naked.
mine.
in a coal
I
mine.
didn't say he was naked. Nobody said he was naked. That was an assumption that you made. Whatever popped into your head, that is on you, sir. But I never said he was naked.
the only thing.
Okay,
that's in my
fully
head-
clothed and still had no evidence of being in the coal mine on him at all.
No coal dust or anything. There's no way he could have gotten to the top of that coal pile without getting a bunch of coal dust on him.
I mean, Chapel does have a point at that. I mean, have you ever seen a coal mine? I mean, I know I haven't
yeah.
been physical person myself, but just from seeing people that have worked or even any kind of videos altogether, I mean, shit, it's pretty much instant. The second you go in there, you're just covered.
There's also a case, this happened, I think, back in the 50s. A little boy who was 2 or 3 disappeared from a cookout with his family. Now, they were on private land, no one else around for miles. He disappears. They find him,
Timmy.
I think, the next day.
Timmy fell
On-
down the well.
No, they found him, I think, the next day.
Unless he found him.
Well, I mean, I could tell you how they found him if you guys shut the fuck up for a minute. But you got your comments, so.
Everyone.
Uh,
Alright, I'm done playing with the soundboard. Continue.
I don't think you are. I think you're ready to continue.
I think I'm ready to hear where that one wasn't me.
That was him. I seen it.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Chapel joined in.
Okay, so they found him where?
They found him on an island in a lake. Dry. Like, he didn't swim there. They don't even know how he got to the island without getting wet.
That's what
And I
she said.
think he was like 4 or 5 miles away.
How long after he disappeared? Did it
Right.
did it say?
A day, maybe half a day. I'd have to
Um,
go back and look at some of this stuff.
That
Look
would
at-
be the perfect explanation as to why they found him in the middle of an island completely dry if they found him a day later.
Yeah, but usually, if you get your clothes wet, you can tell that they were wet if they weren't washed and properly dried off. If you've been wearing wet clothes, you can tell.
I'm assuming at this point they didn't even smell any of the water because, I mean, let's be honest, any open body of water has its own particular scent to it.
Right. That
Mhm.
would be the only explanation as to why they would determine that he was dry, other than the way his clothes would look. it would be the fact that he didn't have any smell from the body of water surrounding the island.
Let's also go back to the point. This kid's 2 or 3. It's not like he swam to this fucking island.
Oh,
No,
he
he
could have
took the
been
boat.
part dolphin.
I mean, hey, I've seen people do weirder. Mermen trying to, lay with other fish people. That didn't make
I
any
love
sense.
this.
I don't think I'm awake enough. Chappie, you want to cut that part out?
Nope.
No,
No,
leaving
we're
that in.
keeping it.
Ah, fuck you.
We're keeping it.
Oh, god damn it.
So,
Okay, so back in the 50s, a 2 to 3-year-old found 4 miles away from the private property that his family was having a party on in the middle of an island, dead, I'm assuming.
no,
She
he was
didn't-
alive.
Oh, he was alive.
He was alive.
So he was, and he doesn't know how he. Oh, actually, well, never mind. He was fucking too. Of course, he didn't know how the fuck he got there.
Yeah.
The fucking the magical fucking pretty elf lady could have fucking guided him over to the island. All I
Look,
know.
you leave the fucking tooth fairy out of this, alright?
I didn't
I've had
say
enough-
tooth fairy. I said the elven lady.
Look, tooth fairies are fey and known as elven, okay? You leave them
No,
creepy
they're
bitches
not.
out of here. Fucking yeah.
Apparently,
Okay.
someone was abused by the tooth fairy as a kid.
No, I've just seen a lot of horror movies and a lot of lore. about
What's
tooth fairies.
so one of the interesting things about these cases is that okay, so I mentioned most of these cases happen in national parks.
Mm-hmm.
Or in like wooded type, something naturistic.
Right. So the guy that started doing the missing 411, his name is David Paulides, and he is former SWAT team, former detective, worked with the San Francisco and LA detectives offices. He's got like a list of credentials. He's not just some random bozo that just made this stuff up.
Oh, I suppose he had nothing to do with Pilates.
I would expect
No.
that from Crash or Kid.
He's coming over to the dark side.
Of course. Of
You
course.
could, yay! I'm one of the bad guys. Yay! So no Pilates.
No.
How about a hot tamale?
No.
Okay, I'm done.
No, he's not.
I'm done for
He's
now.
got more.
I have exhausted my ideas of stupid rhyming jokes.
That's because you just woke up. By the
Hey.
time we get to cryptids, I'm sure you're going to have a ton of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I will.
So, let's see. Oh, the point was that I was making is when people would go missing, the parks services and the ranger. What's the word I'm thinking of?
Park ranger.
Yeah, the park rangers. They didn't have a list of people who went missing.
It was
Fuck.
Yogi Bear took them all.
The devious little fucker.
And
He
Boo Boo.
wanted their picnic, all
Yeah.
their picnic stuff.
You know,
Hey,
everyone,
boo-boo.
everyone gives Yogi Bear the bad name. You know, I feel
Boo
like
Boo was the
Boo Boo-
mastermind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like Boo Boo is really the mastermind. I mean, he's the small and cute one, and he's gonna sit there and be like, "Yeah, I want my picnic basket, so you're coming with me." Yogi was just the big dumb muscle.
I mean, I could give you credit for that one.
So what winds up happening is not only does he the Park Rangers Association is like, we don't have a list of missing people in these parks. So then the government comes out with the what's it called? Freedom of Information Act. And David uses that to request information. And he gets a call from their attorney saying, "Why do you want the information?" And he replies with, "Well, I just want a list so I can, make this list of missing people." And he's like, "Oh, well, you're not in enough libraries to be accredited with that information." It's like, what? So you're saying you're not going to give me the information that you supposedly don't have now? Like, the government side of this has been really sketchy, because the FBI and the Green Berets on a couple of occasions have shown up for these missing persons searches. Green Berets and FBI, that's not their job.
No,
They don't show up for missing persons searches. Especially the Green Berets don't, and the FBI doesn't do that either.
I mean, we could call Agent Mulder. He'd probably find them.
So apparently, I've been looking at this while Chapel's been talking. Apparently, there's like a multi-film series about this.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bore you guys with giving you documentaries to watch, but, I sent you guys shorter videos. I even sent you a podcast to listen to. But, like we said before, y'all didn't
don't do your homework now, the kid. It's too late.
Well, I mean, this just stems back to our teenage years. I'm doing my homework in the middle of class while the teacher's talking. That's right. Give me the answers.
Yeah. Give me the answers while I'm finishing my homework.
Man, I didn't even do that. I just took a nap.
Well, I mean, Crush and I took naps as well, but
God,
they messed up and put us in the same class. Couple times.
Jesus.
They really did.
No wonder. That explains a lot.
Yeah. Now, there are 3 Missing 411 movies. I know I've seen the first 2. There's 4 books in the series. I think there's 4 books in the series. No. There's 8 books in the series, I think.
Love that TV.
His other contribution other than the soundboard infomercial.
Infomercials.
Okay, so other than the kid and the guy who was, not raped in the pile of fucking coal, is there any other?
Oh, there's lots. I mean, the thing is that there's like 8 Missing 411 books, but each book has like a list of missing people in them.
I thought you said there were 4.
Okay, so give us some more weird stories about this then.
It started out at 4, then it went to 8.
No, I said I thought there were 4, but I was wrong, and there are 8. Okay, so there's a.
It's the sequels. That's why they're 8.
Jesus. Of course, Crash. Or I'm sorry, Crash, not Crash, but yeah, no, Crash coming in with his bullshit. So the one of the videos I sent you was about Bart Schreier. This guy, like,
Do you
radio-
say fart or fart?
I said Bart, B-A-R-T, Bart. Crash is sleepy. His hearing starts going when he's tired.
I thought his hearing was going to begin with.
No,
So-
I take a hearing test every year at work.
And I keep pressing that button in the same tones that I hear that stuff. It's every 15 seconds. As long as I do that, my hearing's perfect.
If you hit it too many times, it cuts it off, and you have to restart it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So Bart Schreier was a researcher who his first job for like 10 to 20 years was tranquilizing and putting radio collars on grizzly bears.
That wasn't that career day.
Signs up for that job. Like, ooh, pick me. I want to go out in the wild with a fucking deadly man-eating bear and fucking put them to sleep and put a radio collar on their ass.
Okay.
Apparently Bart Schreier.
Yeah. So we can all safely assume that he was pretty familiar with grizzly bears for doing it for at least 10 years.
Right.
Okay? You know what he did after that? He did the same thing, but in Russia with Siberian tigers.
Oh, dear fucking... Did he have a death wish?
No, he did great at that too. He did that for like 5 or 6 years.
If I'm gonna do that, I'm just gonna have a death wish about it. You know, like every other sane person.
Not only that, but when the parents would leave, he would check on the cubs in their dens and stuff. And never had a problem with that.
Right.
So he went hunting in Alaska, right? He went hunting in Alaska.
The fuck is there to hunt in Alaska?
All kinds of shit, if you want to be
Yeah,
honest.
he was hunting moose.
Oh.
The biggest fucking game that we can pack away into a freezer.
Dude, I want
is
to
the
pet a
moose.
moose. I want to pet a moose. They sound soft.
I mean, even as a truck driver, and any time that we drive up into the northern states, such as Maine and a few others, even for those that drive through Canada and shit, they tell us never use our air horn when we spot a moose because the motherfucker will charge the truck. And you're
Yeah.
fighting, you're going to get an animal that's standing at your height, and I'm quite literally like 8 feet off the ground in my truck. So if I'm staring eyeball to eyeball to an animal who's standing that tall, yeah, fuck that.
I still want to pet one.
So he's there, and we only know this because of the evidence that was left. He was there for a day. He came in. He was in such a remote area they had to fly him in by float plane.
Okay.
So he was there for a day. We know he didn't light a fire because all of his firewood was set up but had not been lit, so it wasn't burned.
So he went missing after they dropped him off.
Yeah, he ate one meal. His raft was set up, and then his raft was found, I think, 1.5 miles away. And when they realized who was missing, they called the Royal Canadian Mounties because he was on Canada, or he was in Canada. He was close to Alaska, but he was in Canada. So here's where it gets weird. First, the Mounties decided that they were going to only do a airplane search. They were only going to search by the sky in an area that's one of the most densely forested areas on the planet.
So at that point, the fucking search is just null and void. If you're going to do a fucking plane search.
Then they halted the search early, right? They halted the search early for weather conditions, which is weird because we have the information of those weather conditions during that week, and that week was clear all 7 days, not even clouds. So a couple of his friends were like, okay, this is weird. They're not doing their job. They're just being lazy. So they go to his campsite and they find his raft. The Mounties never found his boat. The Mounties never found his boat. His friends found his boat and some of his equipment, including a bag that had food in it that had an indentation like somebody had been sitting on it. But they couldn't find Bart. So then they called the Mounties back and said, "Hey, you clearly didn't do your job. You need to come back out here." So the Mounties come back out. They found a hat, but that was literally on the way to where all of his stuff was already at that had already been found. So the Mounties are like, "Oh, bear attack."
Bear attack with a man who had 10 years of experience with the actual bears that are in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that guy would. There's not many people that would have a genuine advantage against a large apex predator like that, but this Bart guy, if he's tangled with Siberian tigers and with all different kinds of bears, like, he knows what the hell he's doing around them. He knows their tricks.
Yeah. Not only that, he's an expert in keeping himself safe if he's actually caught off guard.
Right. And
not
not
only
to
that,
mention, he was there hunting, so he had the equipment.
He was
to
bow hunting.
tangle. Doesn't matter. I mean, if he knows a bear that well, he would know exactly where to target.
Yeah. So
he's a Packmaster Ranger. You're welcome. I had to.
Thank you. So here's what happens. They do find bear scat and wolf scat in the area. But anyone that knows predators knows that they eat your clothes right along with you. There's no... In all the scat from the bears and the wolves, there's no clothing in the scat. They find a couple human bones and manage to trace that to actually being Bart. But they don't know what happened to him.
Or was it really Bart, or was it just them saying that this is Bart?
No, there was like DNA testing and stuff like that was done. And I want to say they also had enough to get like dental records as well.
Oh, so they found a corpse?
Yeah. Yeah, they
still
found
had his clothes on?
I don't know. That's one of the things that's really weird. None of all the testing, there's not a lot of it that comes back that was recorded. Like it's almost like they intentionally did not record all the stuff that was going on.
Sick, it's been in my head. So, prepare for this one. It was the fucking fairies that took him.
I'm fucking done with you.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You take a guy like that, who's got, I'm just going to say 15 to 20 years of dealing with apex predators, tranquilizing them, putting radio collars on them, and brave enough to go into the dens after the mother and or parents leave the den to check on the fucking cubs.
Yeah.
Who goes to Alaska to go hunting for, I'm just going to assume that he was going there for moose hunting. goes missing the very same day that he gets dropped off by a seaplane or a float plane or raft plane or whatever the fuck you want to call it, a pontoon plane,
Beep beep.
bush plane. There, I had it all of them in. Gets a search party done for him by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, who do a airplane search over a thickly dense forest, which makes no sense at all for that one. Then they rule that he went missing because he was ate by a bear, which, yet again, he has at least 10 plus years of experience of dealing with these animals, knows how to handle himself around those animals. And they find traces of both bear and wolf scat. No signs of clothing inside of the scat, because when those animals are eating, they're just going to eat. They don't give a fuck what's in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta.
Then they
Real
find
fun.
his body and have no evidence as to what truly killed him and what took him.
Right.
It's the fucking fairies.
I mean,
Or something
I-
else of supernatural predation.
I suppose I could technically give you that one. Any true Fae lore does state most all of this stuff would take place in a forested or natured area, especially with some of the stories that we have heard. The only thing about it is that I would have a hard time fully agreeing with is if you end up in a phase realm, you're not coming back ever. They do not bring you back. So that one I would have to argue with that. I mean,
I'm not saying 100% that it was the fucking fairies to be exact, but I mean, come on, you go missing, and a group of people such as the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, who know the area, decide to search for you by fucking plane, knowing that they're not going to see you.
that
And have a
sounds to me
delay
like
on
there's
it.
something down there that they didn't want to come across.
Oh, there's something there that they knew was there that they don't want to fucking come across, and they don't want to own up to, let alone admit that's there.
So let me see if I can keep talking. Let me see if I can't find a map.
And I'm not like I said, I'm not saying that it was actual fairies, because yeah, you're right, because there is lore about fairies that will abduct you and cannibalize you. And yeah, there's also stories of where people have been, well, second party or third party witness bullshit, that someone was abducted by fairies and they're never seen again.
Wait.
And that's because the simple fact of it is that you're right. Fairies don't like to bring back their playthings.
Wait, I figured it out. We don't need to call Mulder for this one. Someone get a hold of Hellboy. He'll figure it out.
So with that being said, How do you have how do you have all this knowledge of wildlife? Go hunting, go missing after having one meal and no fire.
I'm kind of curious what he ate. Like, what did you eat, sir?
And then to be found, I don't know how many days later or whatever, and your corpse still has its clothes on, and no one releases the true nature or cause of your death. And, you know, the mounted police don't do their job thoroughly because they're probably more than likely terrified of what's lurking in those woods.
I mean, they're not going to. The U.S. government's not going to call out the Green Berets for no reason.
The U.S. government's not going to use Green Berets in a fucking search party to begin with. That is
but
just
they
way
did.
too much money. If the U.S. government is using someone like the Green Berets in a search party, and this is, you know, me speaking as someone who was formerly in the military, and we've got Crash today, and he's got family members that are in the military or who were in the military. They're not going to pull in their resources like that unless they know something's there that they may or may not have potentially.
Now, here's an interesting thing on one of the two occasions that the Green Berets were called in. Right, there is a former Green Beret who made this statement. He said that he could not answer as to why the Green Berets were there, but they were there for a reason. Not only were they part of the search party, but they were armed.
He could not answer as to why they were there, just the fact that they were there.
He could not answer as to why they were there, but they were there. They were armed, which is not standard. He said that the U.S. military, if it does do something associated with some kind of search and rescue, they don't have weapons that they come out there with.
At least not their
They don't-
high-powered weapons.
No, they don't have weapons at all.
Not even
they
their
send.
sidearm?
It's against military regulation.
You would figure that their sidearm would
Yeah.
be something that they have
No.
to keep on them at all times.
No.
If you are ever drawn into a search party through the United States military, you're not allowed to carry anything that fires a projectile.
So the fact that they showed up with their rifles is telling to me.
Yeah, I would definitely agree on that.
So with that, you know, hell, maybe I should have done my homework a little bit more.
I think we all should have, but it's the Dick Storks and Destinies. I mean, come on. We're half-assed.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, Dix is in the name.
It's not often that we're all going to do homework.
I don't think that's that often that any of us do homework.
I don't remember the last time I ever have done homework.
So yeah, I mean, those stories are interesting. You know, the 2 to 3 year old kid who's found 4 miles away in the middle of a fucking island surrounded by water. No recollection of how he got there, but I'm sitting there going, okay, it's a 2 to 3 year old. They're not really going to remember shit. But no evidence of being wet from the water. And also, I'm assuming that this island was at least a good half mile from the other dry land.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Also,
a 2 to 3 year old's
so-
not going to swim that distance.
so Okay, so Keith Parkins was 2 years old when he went missing. He was found 8 miles away from the place he was last seen, bared no memory of what happened to him, and they dropped the guy from Man vs. Wild or someone that does the same thing as him, like an experienced survivalist. They dropped him at that site where he disappeared and told him, make it to the 8-mile range across this terrain. You have 24 hours. The location's technically 8 miles away, but the distance traveled is 12 because of like terrain and stuff that you have to go over.
Uh-huh.
The survivalist could not do that. The survivalist couldn't make it. So there's no way that kid did that at 2 by himself. He was found in a cave, by the way. There's no way he could have done that. And this happened in South Dakota.
Mountain troll.
Man, he's excited about the mountain trolls.
Do you know how much XP they are? If I thought they were real, I would be excited about that.
Look, trollolololo. Trollolo, eat shoe.
Well, I mean, he was found in a cave, crossed 12 miles of up and down terrain, which is in a straight line, is only 8 miles away from where he went missing.
Yeah.
They compared that to a full-grown adult survivalist, someone like Bear Grylls, who was unable to cross that gap in 24 hours. Yeah. I'm assuming that this kid that went missing did this shit in 24 hours, right?
Yeah, because he was found the next day.
Okay, so within 24 hours of his disappearance, he was found 8 miles away in a straight line, 12 miles if you flatten the terrain out.
Yeah.
Definitely
see,
a lot to it.
He did not cross that by himself or by any means that is natural to this world. He could have fucking stumbled across anything. Like anything. Not only that, but he was in South Dakota when this happened. So that means he's got wolves, coyotes, various species of bear. I believe mountain lions as well. Or big cats, I should say. All kinds of shit that could see a 2-year-old walking and go, ooh, easy meal.
Yeah. And there's an estimated 1,400 people or more that go missing every year in national parks.
I mean,
So what he's saying
This
is
just-
don't go visit the parks and you won't go missing.
this just reminds me of a story, and I'm sorry to break away from the 411 about this, but Alicia was feeding me I want to say it was a podcast broken up over TikTok about a group of guys that went camping and hiking with a large group of people in a fucking national forest nonetheless. And one of the people went missing, and it all came about because of the two guys that are, they're the main people of the story, came across a set of stairs in the middle of the fucking woods.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about because that's
That's some
that goes
good
back to the
drugs.
park ranger thing.
Dude.
No, there's park rangers that talk about that. They'll find a set of stairs in the middle of the woods, deep in the middle of the woods, where there's no buildings, no structure, nothing.
Is it playing Stairway to Heaven?
No.
Poor
In fact,
Crash, he's just not into this. He's just like, I'm
in
gonna make
fact,
jokes.
from that, they actually state that the touching those stairs or climbing those stairs unleashes a plethora of supernatural and mythical creatures who all just want to go back to our world.
Ugh. So it's the highway to hell. Okay.
But yeah, if you go and look, there's a bunch of missing cases. Um, see if I can find you guys an image of something.
I'm never mind. Not gonna go there.
Are you not? Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay. Have you guys seen the picture of the missing persons and the caves overlap?
I know.
No, sir.
Let me see if I can find that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's wonderful. No, it's really odd because a bunch of the missing persons cases happen where a cave system is at.
Yet again, I'm just gonna go back to what I had said that where Ken said I was really excited. Fucking mountain trolls or trolls in general.
Tastes like pork. No, tastes like chicken.
Let's see here.
Someone quick play the Jeopardy theme.
We don't have that soundboard.
Yeah, I know. I started searching sounds on the soundboard, and all they give us is like 6 sounds in general. Makes me sad.
Yeah.
Like, we can't encompass everything with 6 sounds.
Nope. Sure can't.
Let's see if I can find the. Nope. I can't find a map that looks good. I keep finding them, but they're all pixelated. It's like they all got poor quality for some reason.
Well, I mean, it is what it is at that point. But I have to say, with this whole thing, it actually is quite interesting.
Yeah, so one of the things that, and one of the last ones I'm going to cover is, so there was this group of hunters, mostly older guys with their sons. Now, to give you an idea of when I say older guys, their son or sons were like in their 30s. So these guys were like in their 60s, 70s. One guy in particular was around 75 to 80 years old.
Okay, so we got guys that are our age, excluding Ken. And we got basically our fathers and a hunting trip like that.
Yep. So they went to this area that they hunted like every single year. They even went and visited this place throughout the year just to go camping and stuff. So it's not like they're unfamiliar with the territory. The older guys line up at the base of the hill so the younger guys can chase the game up the hill and then down towards the older guys. So what winds up happening is the older guys set up and they're only 100 yards apart, right?
Okay.
They line up at the bottom of the hill. There's 100 yards between each one. One of the guys sits down and is never seen again. They don't find anything of him. Not a candy wrapper, no clothes. He just disappears in thin air and is never seen again.
Ken, you know where I'm going.
God damn it! Stop it.
Fairy!
Of course he would go to fairies.
That's
Be
slapping.
the mole people.
What? What the fuck?
They go to sit down and poof. They took him in ground.
I'm not even surprised Crash said that.
You're learning.
All right. But yeah, that's our time for this episode. So just something to think about while Halloween's approaching.
Remember, folks, not only can you prevent forest fires, stay the fuck away from national forests.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just don't go near the stairs.
Or both. Stay the fuck away from the stairs and stay the fuck away from the forests.
Oh.
And drugs.
All right. You guys, yeah, and drugs. All right. You guys have a good one.
Peace.
Later.
See ya.